and welcome to another episode of the Media Pending Podcast, this time in Minecraft. Today I'm joined by the co-host, Aiden, as always, Aidweema right here.
That's me.
We're joined by Jesse, also known as the Hesse. Hey, how's it going?
Going great. Happy to be here, talking about my largest obsession, probably.
Your strange addiction. I am actually Jesse's enabler. I am directly responsible for ruining his life.
The heightening of my life.
The heightening.
Through too much Minecraft.
Yeah, so we've all played Minecraft for a very long time, both together and individually. I think my first memory of Minecraft was actually like back in 2011, which is close to when the game like launched in beta, barely got out of alpha.
Oh, yeah, I remember when the big buzz on the street was creative mode had been added. Like, I remember that far back.
Dude,
that's
so I've been running servers for about that long, just with my friends.
Oh, wow.
I remember we had bees flying around. I remember we had a special server-wide event for the release of the jungle biome and the emerald block.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't play multiplayer Minecraft on the computer, at least, until I was probably like 15. So I played like a good 4 or 5 years just by myself. But I wish I would have had that community, because it would have been a lot more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a blast, and I'm still running servers to this day because of it. Man, Jesse, do you remember the first server that we played on together?
So you and I think probably the first servers I was ever involved in were your series of Hunger Games servers, back when those were relevant, culturally
Yes.
popping off. There were quite a few, and I think I mostly just remember them because you and I weren't in the same friend circle, and so that was a little strange for me, but also because Jake W. Dug into my obsidian base and destroyed everything and killed me.
He was...
No!
That is actually the second worst crime I think he's ever committed in Minecraft. No, like the worst crime he committed got my parents involved.
Oh, dang.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage
Over
that?
what?
So we had this one idea for the server where we were going to build a space station in the end. And so we had cleared out like the entire end and built this iron space station. And I remember it being really cool. And this was like a neighborhood-wide project because I think
I was involved in this one too, but go ahead.
Yeah. And I just did it with a bunch of the kids in the neighborhood. But one day, Gorek was on the server. And,
that guy. Except I don't.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
The lore.
My strange blood feud.
Yeah. So anyway, Gorek was on the server and he was working on the space station. I think we were doing this in creative mode because we were children and that's kind of just what we did. But he was just building the space station, and then Jake got on and just blew the entire thing to bits. But that wasn't what got the parents involved. It was that he wrote homophobic slurs directed at Gorek, who is straight, in the spaceship's ruins. And so I'm flying around just distraught, showing my dad, like, what happened?
How old were you at the time?
I think this was like 11 or 12.
Oh, that's 12-year-old behavior right there.
Yeah.
Peak
So
12-year-old.
Oh,
I was showing my dad, because I hadn't found these signs yet. I was just sad, and I was showing my dad like the rubble of this space station that we built that was so cool. And we come across these signs, and he is ticked. I still remember I actually think the Word document is still on the home computer because he wrote out a Word document before sending out the email to his parents. Just he's like, listen, I don't care that he blew up the space station in the game. Like, it's just a game. It can be rebuilt. But this behavior is potentially problematic. And this is bullying behavior. So,
Or are we dropping the Google Doc in the in the chat? Is that what's going to happen?
dude, I think this was
Patreon and get full access.
full access to the uncensored story with his first, last name, and current address.
Release the hammer cat.
But yeah, thankfully, aside from that, there hasn't been like any like real drama on any of the servers I've run. There have been a handful of scandals involving like small children being annoying and us looking for any excuse to get rid of them.
Smart Joshua.
Oh man,
Forgot about that guy.
For me.
What
good
a guy.
times. Good times.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're saying is that you and I certainly have a long and storied history, almost as long and storied as your history with Minecraft. It was
Yes.
probably 2014 that I was first involved with your servers, somewhere in there.
Is that how you guys kind of became friends in the first place?
I'd say so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think we like started hanging out because of Minecraft, and then like other interests such as Pokemon. We had that little rivalry going on for a while.
Little 2-year long, hundreds of hours of feud rivalry. That's a general way to put it.
I originally got Minecraft to solidify a lie that I was telling. I had to commit.
This seems in character for you,
I
Aiden.
only purchased Minecraft to commit to the bit because I think it was 6th grade. I had no friends, and I was like bottom of my class. I was like doing horrible in every assignment. My teacher hated me. Everyone in the class hated me. Like, I just felt so lonely and like despised. And a group of kids were talking about Minecraft at recess, and to fit in, I pretended like I had played the game and had like a 30-minute conversation with them about it. And then I went home so afraid that they were going to find out I haven't actually played it, that I bought the game just so I could learn more about it, so that they wouldn't catch me in a lie and
It
prove
was
that
all
I never
research for the
actually
long
played it.
con.
Yeah, literally the whole purpose behind me playing this game was just entirely to continue to just deceive these group of
So
kids.
Aiden, did that ever end?
No, I never talked to them again after that day. Like,
Do
like
you
I
still
never
just
had
play
it.
it for the long con?
Yeah, I was like, it was one of those things where it was like I was waiting for the opportunity where they would come up to me and be like, "Okay, tell us, what does this mean?" And I'd be ready for it. And no, they just never talked to me again. But if they had, I would have been ready. I'm still waiting. Any day now, I'm gonna
Any
get
day
like
now,
an
yeah.
email. Like, it's gonna be like, only true Minecrafters can get 80% on this quiz.
Them and Dad back with the milk.
Oh man. You know, I almost didn't get Minecraft because Ashton convinced me it was a scary game, like a horror game.
It is. Minecraft is scary, honestly.
It has zombies and skeletons. That's terrifying.
The first time I played Minecraft was on creative mode, and I fell into like a little hole in the ground, and a skeleton was in the cave, and I got so scared I had to like quit the game. And I was in creative mode. But I had no idea how the game worked, and I was like, because like the caves are so dark, and I was like walking into it and it was pitch black, and I like saw something moving in there. I was like, oh nah.
Nope, right
Same
out.
for me, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember the first thing I wanted to build when I got Minecraft, because like creative mode was the only thing that I like really thought I'd ever want to do with just building. And so I remember I sat down on like a Sunday afternoon after I bought it, and I drew up a diagram for just a city in the sky where I'd build just a platform above the ground and build a city up there. I just thought that was a cool concept.
Oh yeah,
But
I had
it's
a,
really just like,
I thought I was so original, and I had the exact same idea.
oh my
Right.
gosh, I had a notebook that I would put like Minecraft build ideas in, and I'd be so pumped to like build them, and they'd always just turn out so crappy.
so
Or
that kind of leads into the next talking point. Like, how did you guys start getting good at building? Because I consider you two some of the best like Minecraft builders that I personally know.
I still don't think I'm good at building. I feel like I have ways to go. I'm good at watching YouTube tutorials.
All we did was just get older.
Yeah. I think
Jason, at what point did we transition? Is a good
So-
question, because I can't think of a specific point.
I think for me, it was when I discovered kind of like Build Academy stuff on Instagram. It would just get recommended to me, like just building tips and tutorials. And I would integrate those into my builds. Like, I am a firm believer in depth, right? Like, if a building is a square in Minecraft, which is the easiest thing that it can be, it needs to have depth and layer and texture to it. And you can get around doing so much detail work on a structure by making it not a square, which usually just means a circle. And so you can usually add depth to these builds with things like windows and ornate walls. And that's kind of what I've just run with. So for me, it was a couple years ago with Instagram. I think it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, honestly, where I discovered depth in building.
Yeah, I think part of it for me was just persistence. I mean, I would give anything to have access to my old creative mode world from when I was a kid. It is full of the worst builds you'll ever see. But
Gold house, diamond house.
oh yeah, no, I had a skyscraper house, and each room was built out of like, it was like different themes. Like, there was like the music box room, there was like the kitchen room, like, and it was just a giant skyscraper. And then they updated the build height, and so then I had to add even more rooms. There was like a giant sign on the front where I wrote out my name in blocks. Like, it was a lot of stuff. Like, that was my favorite part of Minecraft, was just building. And honestly, as much as I love survival, like, I think the next thing I would want to do in Minecraft, if we were ever gonna like just start up a server, just like, might be creative mode. I genuinely cannot remember the last time like I played in creative mode. I guess you had that server, the adventure map server you were trying to start up, Jason.
With all those really good builds that we just didn't do
Well, that
anything
one was
with.
that one was a ton of fun. Like, I felt like I think that was if we're talking about moments where I felt like we grew as builders, I think that was a big one for me, because you have a lot more freedom to experiment when you don't have to worry about traveling across the world to find a certain block.
Yeah.
It's like you're building a house, you're like, oh, I want to use this block that's only found in hell. It's like, you don't have to worry about going to hell. You can just open your inventory.
I mean, Aiden, you still have to worry about that.
Well, not in Minecraft, but yeah. But otherwise, yes, I am. I'm counted among the damned.
I think, for me, I've got a pretty limited skill set in my own estimation, but
You know, about 10,000 people would disagree with you.
10,000? Where do you pull
Yeah, it's
that number
getting
out of?
close.
Oh, well.
The Urithiru build is approaching 10,000.
Well, and that I think is my strong suit, is just that, particularly in survival, I don't know why creative doesn't do it for me, but survival, I really, really enjoy just massive scale builds. And so for me, probably the turning point was when in 2020, a friend of mine suggested that we build Urithiru in Minecraft. I think he suggested it. And I was so on board. I had just read the book series it was from recently, and you can tell how on board I was, considering that I kept working on it for the next 2 years and completed a massive portion of it. For me, more progress has only really come as a builder since I've started planning my builds out like that, like doing the math beforehand, because I am very much an improvisational builder. I'll just kind of send it.
Same.
And so as I started planning things out and like leaving space in walls for depth, that was actually an option for me.
I think the build that you're working on now on this short-term building contest server, it might, like, in my opinion, dethrone Urithiru in just like build quality.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
like,
this
it
is the best
so
thing you've
good.
ever built.
Build quality, by a wide margin. And
it's just a matter of finishing it.
I spent tens of hours researching. Man, this is the weebiest thing I've said in a while, but I spent tens of hours researching Japanese castles and fortifications so that I could build a proper one in Minecraft with the cherry biome to celebrate that.
Yeah.
So
I don't think like researching like Japan and like actual Japanese culture is weeby.
I hope so.
I've kind of been going down that rabbit hole too. If you look at my Google search history, today alone there was native Japanese fauna. Just looking up like what is actually here. But part of that stems from watching Princess Mononoke today for the first time.
Oh, what'd you think?
I thought it was really good, and I see why you like it so much, because it has pretty much the exact same theme and messaging as Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I can see it.
But yeah, it was really good.
Minus the Christian undertones.
Yeah, but like the whole humans and nature coexisting in industry, poisoning the landscape, but also being important for progress, and kind of that whole duality, how humanity corrupts nature by changing their environment.
Yeah. Glad you got to it. I definitely do think that I'm still an improving builder, though. Like, I don't feel like I've plateaued, and I feel like research and planning have been where I've learned to grow the most.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that other server we were talking about with the
I'm excited for our next project.
The creative build. I think that would be a lot of fun.
The Rashar project.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
If I ever get time for it, but
see, that's the thing. I don't know how feasible even like a creative building server is, like even with our toned down vision. So for background listeners, we had discussed building parts of Roshar in Minecraft, kind of piggybacking off of the success that Jesse's Urithiru build has online. Like, it has quite a few views, and we think that recruiting people to help us build it would be good, and using momentum from that video to kind of be a springboard for that project would be good as well. But I don't know if that'll just work. I mean, Jesse's going back to school. I am working a full-time, almost adult job, and then Aiden just got a job.
More time for me.
Yeah.
I got a job and I'm doing school this semester. Which I keep forgetting about. Yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting time to be Aiden Pocock. But I'm excited for it. And yeah.
I see where you're coming from, Jason, but I'm a little more optimistic.
Okay. Well, that is another time's project. Right now, it is just Island Contest.
Yeah,
That is,
which I think has been a
all-consuming.
pretty successful event, all in all.
Yeah, this
I
is
think
definitely
we've
the build
all-
contest where we've had the most people.
Participation, for sure. I think people have also been just having a lot of fun with it. And I think that's
Agreed.
probably what's most important about anything. But yeah. I definitely give this one to Jesse, though. I think he's got a very solid chance of taking home the gold.
I've got to finish it first, but
Yeah,
this
let's
is my
jinx
finest
him.
work,
You've got time.
especially for the
I mean,
1 month deadline. I feel really
Yeah.
positive about this one.
That cathedral, though, I mean, that was incredible.
was nice.
And that,
And you know how I did that one? Research and measurement.
really, see,
Yeah.
I just do like reference buildings. That's kind of how I decide my mega structures. Like what I'm working on here, Montjuic from Barcelona. I just look at the picture and I think, how can I make this Minecraft with depth? And there it is.
That ain't me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just gonna say
I
that
think-
the Urithiru build was the first build where I ever sat down and did the math and figured out how I would, like, what scale I would convert it at, and that's been a winning formula for me every time since.
Sat down, saw the code.
I think I want to try my next build out the way that you do it, Jason, because usually what I do if I want to like build a specific structure is I'll look up reference images for similar builds in Minecraft, and then I'll try to build most of my builds. I just do freeform. Pretty much everything I've built on this server so far has just been I've just been winging it. I don't think I've used a reference for anything so far, but I think using a reference image from the real world is so much more engaging and interesting, because it's like you have to actually like challenge yourself to think creatively. You have to like figure out like, okay, how would I recreate this in blocks instead of just looking at someone who has already done it and like following the pattern one for one. Like I definitely want to try that out at some point.
For me, it's a combination of both, because I can look at a building like Montjuic, but I don't instinctively know how to build like the domes, right? And so I'll go look up like Minecraft dome tutorials and find something that kind of fits. So it's building off of a reference image and then getting the necessary additional information I need from tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I didn't want to do that.
I wanna build a castle and like in Minecraft and look up like a real like European castle. Like maybe what was the name of that one we went to in Switzerland?
Yeah, Shilong.
Shalom.
Shalom. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Shilong.
I might do that for my
That'd be a
next project.
fantastic one. I'm in a
Or
castle
it'd be
building
really
mood
cool.
too, but for me that means Tower City.
I wanna build a castle so bad. I've never built like a giant impressive castle in Minecraft.
Oh man.
And I've always wanted to, which seems so.
It does surprise me because that
lived.
seems like right up your alley.
I know it seems like something I would have done many times. I've built like very amateur castles on my other worlds, but it's usually just like walls and a keep. Like I haven't built any castle that I'm like proud of, but I want to try something out in like creative mode as opposed to like survival, because it's always more satisfying to build something in survival, but I just don't know if I'm there yet. Maybe if this server we're playing on right now ends up being like a long-term server and we just keep it up afterwards, maybe I will just end up building a giant castle on the other side of our island. I mean, we've got the space for it, especially if I'm building the Shalom castle, which is in the water. Like I might end up doing it. 'Cause we have a good setup here for me to actually try that because of how much stone we have. Like it does
We have
give.
dummy amounts of stone, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's actually what I'm in here cooking up right now. I don't know why. We have so much in these chests already. I just yeah.
Yeah, and I took so many photos of the castle, so I have like tons of
Your
reference
own
images.
reference images. How cool
my-
is that?
I have my own reference images, and I even took pictures of like the models they had.
Yep. Love the models.
So like,
Me too.
yeah, so I would love to do something with that. And the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's the next thing I'm gonna do. But
Speaking of your own reference images, kind of the next like big international trip I want to plan is to Japan. I've just been on the Japanese culture and technology and landscape rabbit hole recently, and there's a lot to see over there.
well, there's a ton. I've always wanted to go to Japan. I think that'd be so fun. And now we have a talking point because Jesse can go and say, "Hey, I actually built a
The thing is, though,
this is-
Japanese style castle."
here's the crazy
Well,
thing.
and a
I know the
specific
castle
one.
that he's basing it off of, and I know how to
Yeah.
get there from Tokyo now. So
Ooh,
Exactly right. And it ties
maybe in
That-
2 years, guys.
that is tempting. That is very tempting.
Oh man. So how do you guys feel about the direction Minecraft is going in terms of like updates and such? Does it still feel like Minecraft? Does it feel like the Minecraft of your childhood but just built upon and natural, or does it feel completely different? How do you guys feel about the game and its progression?
I think
About as
within
close
the,
as Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like within the boundaries of like the core biomes, it still feels very much like Minecraft. I feel like when you start to venture out to like Mesa and like Savannah, I hate Savannah, but like some of these newer biomes and I think there's a reason that so many people still just build their bases in the comfortable biomes, but like I feel like all the blocks added still complement the core essence of Minecraft. It still feels very Minecraft to me, but it also is just changed a lot, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. To me, I'm about as close to ambivalent as you can get, with the exception of a few updates that I really loved. Like, obviously, everyone loved Caves and Cliffs, and I think that's because it just captured our imaginations in the same way that original Minecraft did. But
I've
For
actually
me-
recently. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll tell my.
yeah, I was just going to say that for me, I mean, it all still feels enough like Minecraft that I can build just with more options now. I'm not gonna pretend that the past was better just because it was simpler as far as gameplay.
Yeah, like I feel like with a few exceptions, if I went back to Minecraft, like to an older version of Minecraft, it would definitely feel like things were missing if I was playing it. Like most of the things added to the game are like things that I utilize. Like I would go back and be like, oh, I forgot there aren't stone cutters in this version, or
Oh,
you know,
that one is an unambiguous good.
yeah. So there's just like stuff like that like I don't know. There are a lot of changes to the game that I've really appreciated and like, but yeah, there are some things that I could take it or leave it. I mean, bamboo is cool, but if I went to a previous update where they didn't have bamboo blocks, I would not like feel a loss.
I would
Copper?
at this point.
I would not shed a tear if copper was just removed from the game. Like it has a cool mechanic with how it like oxidizes, and it's a cool building block, but I just don't think I'd miss it that much. There's just not much to it.
I think that's our first major point of disagreement.
I don't know. I think copper was wasted potential.
Could be.
It's so
I'll give
expensive.
you that wasted potential, but like just because it had so much more potential doesn't mean it's fantastic. It's not fantastic for me.
What's not fantastic?
Sorry, I didn't word that very clearly. Just because it had so much potential to begin with and it didn't quite live up to that potential doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's good and I would still miss it. I'd shed quite a few tears if copper were removed. I just think that there was even more potential that they could have lived up to.
Yeah. I think most of the additions to the game are pretty arbitrary, like, okay. And then every once in a while they'll add something in that's just like, oh, that's genius. Like candles. They threw candles in. I was like, oh yeah, why did it take 12 years to put candles in the game? Like, just lighting in general. I mean, lanterns are probably only like 7 years old.
Lanterns are amazing.
Yeah. But
yeah, in preparation for this contest, I ran into a vocal minority online who does not like the Caves and Cliffs update because they miss the old janky generation.
Wow.
Yeah, they miss their like floating islands. They miss their like weird rock features jutting up.
I don't miss the generation above ground at all. I think the surface world is 100% an improvement in every possible way. I think the surface world is fixed. Like, I do not miss the old generation. I think the old generation, frankly, is really bad when you look back on it and realize how much better it is now. But I think that the underground, there are parts of it I miss. Like, it is kind of daunting to go into a cave and you need 3 stacks of torches to light it up and like spawn proof it. Like, there's not a lot of just like small caves and caverns you can go into now. Like, you go underground and it's just giant. You can get lost so much easier. Like, it's pros and cons.
Reminds me of real caves.
They are a lot more like real caves. I'll give you that.
And I'm already prejudiced because I love real caves. So get me more of the real thing.
You been to Carlsbad Cavern?
No, I haven't, and I really want to go. I went to Wind Caves and I did their 3-hour back cave experience, which has you crawling on your belly and sliding through holes in the floor. That was great.
Oh, what is wrong with you? Jeez. I like caves, but you'd have to hold me at gunpoint.
Jesse's an earthworm at heart.
Yeah, to get me to slide through a crack in the ground, and they're like, "Well, you seem about
so good.
You seem, yeah, you probably could have squeezed through it. You're skinny enough." Me, they'd be like, "Sorry, go wait outside." I get stuck like a gumdrop. It would not
stuck like a gum.
One of the highlights of my teenage life right there. The really cool part is that my dad, who, as far as I know, is not the same level of cave enthusiast as I am, went with me. It's like, that's a real homie.
That's nice. So I guess some people are just better than I am in this world, because I would have.
You're on your own, son.
I would have not permitted my son to go. He would have been not allowed. It would have been this whole like Fallout thing. That's like his that's like his Act 1 like inspiration, is I'm the opposing force in his story that pushes him to rebel, because I'd be like, as long as you're under my roof, there will be no caving in this house.
But Dad, I love it.
To give you an idea of how interested I am in caves, and this is a tangent, but we'll break it off shortly. I did consider joining a caving group so that I could see some of the holes in the ground that are kept secret from the masses because they'll kill themselves in them. And then I realized I didn't want
That
to
sounds
die
like
alone.
a really good reason to keep them secret.
Yeah. And then I realized I wasn't ready to deal with the risk of death far from my family in a hole in the ground somewhere.
I'm glad. See, this is probably why we inevitably became friends, is because you have at least that level of
Sanity.
self-preservation and sanity.
Someday, maybe.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, just don't tell me about it. My goodness. I don't know. Caves. And cliffs. I don't like them. I don't like either of them.
See, I can enjoy a good cliff from a distance. I don't really like rappelling or climbing that much. Don't tell Summer. But like, I don't know, like the sheer cliffs, they just add so much to a vista.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like going on a hike to look out over cliffs, but
he's saying in
standing
Minecraft.
over them, especially like, oh my gosh, the Grand Canyon. I actually do not remember what the Grand Canyon looks like at all. I have been there. I have no image in my head of what the Grand Canyon even looks like, because the only memory I have is of all the people who just got right up next to the edge to take photos and just being so uncomfortable and nervous the whole time. I didn't get that like, whoa, nature is incredible. Like, I think of the Grand Canyon, the only thing I remember is frustration and fear. Like,
you know, I did not peg you for having a fear of heights, but
oh, you didn't?
Like,
I saw him in the cathedral.
Well, I mean, yeah. I was leading into that. Like, I would not have pegged you as that until I saw you at the National Pantheon.
Oh my gosh, that
Lisbon.
was the worst. It was cool, but holy!
Like when Summer stuck her foot over the edge.
Oh,
it nearly perishes.
That makes me want to throw up. Do you know that I still get like anxiety attacks when I think about running 2 miles in 15 minutes to get to the train in time?
I'm sorry about that.
Like I even though like I just get anxiety because my brain's like, what if I missed? Like, what if I didn't get on that train? Like, I have no idea. Like, I was like, I would have missed the flight. And I was in autopilot mode for most of that trip. I was like, Jason's got me covered. He's got it planned. If that had happened, I would have been like screwed. You know, so screwed.
I made one miscalculation the entire trip, and it was almost a really bad one. So sorry about that.
I mean, I made it. I'm here. I'm alive. But
you wouldn't have died.
I might not have never made it home. I don't know. I probably would have had to spend a boatload of money buying a new plane ticket to get back.
We would have helped.
It's well, my wife and I will tell this story to people sometimes, and I'll just think about it, and it'll get my heart pumping, because like, even though I make it, like, my brain's still like, what if you're not gonna make it? And it's like, no, but you don't understand. Like, I made it, and my brain's like, what if you don't make it in time?
When she tells the story, she says like it was a good trip, but that was bad, or was it just like, you're such an idiot? Or...
No, we just tell the story to emphasize like how crazy going home was. It's like the first part of like the whole going home story. And then because I carried my big heavy backpack, which was like half my luggage, and her heavy backpack on the front. But every time we tell the story, she always has to make it sound like she carried her bag for most of the way. But nah, man, I had that bag, and that's why I was just dead. Like, that's the most like out of breath, physically exhausted. Like, I'm pretty sure I have exercise-induced asthma, but I just don't exercise enough that it's ever a problem. But when I get to moments like that, I'm like screwed. Like, I probably should have had an inhaler at that moment. Like, I was wheezing.
Yeah, that was pretty apparent when you made it.
Yeah, it was rough, and I'm sorry. That was a huge miscalculation on my part.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, I was right there. I could have said or done something as well, but it was just a tough situation, and I don't think anybody is at fault for it.
Yeah. My only solace is that aside from that, everything went smooth.
Oh yeah, everything else in the trip was fine. I mean, there was the castle in Gruyere. That was like the one thing we missed the whole trip. And I was okay with it, even though that castle looked so cool. But going to that chocolate factory,
we're going back.
I'll go back. I mean, when I have money, for sure. But yeah,
You're working that job. Take us both.
they're not paying me that much yet. I gotta help build the business. It's a startup.
Make it sound like the mafia.
It is. That's my job right now. Is they send me out to their clients who haven't paid up, and I just stand outside their house with a 2x4, and I just
2x4?
They're like,
hold it.
buddy, you looking for the construction site? Can I help you?
No, because when they turn around, I get that leverage. I just swing it at them. I knock them flat on the ground, and then I'm a kicker. So I just walk up. I start kicking, and they pay up every time. And each consecutive person that I get to pay their fine, they boost me an extra $1 an hour. So I'm currently at $550 an hour.
Yeah, and
that
he
would be
still
nice.
believes that he can't take me to Switzerland.
If I was making $550 an hour, I'd be in Switzerland right now.
Yeah,
I'm just
closer to $5.50 an hour.
more like times 3-ish.
Still closer than to 550, but man,
Yeah.
the
getting
Europe
there. I'm
trip was
getting there.
great. I think what it left me thinking about was how the scale that I build at is closer to real scale than I expected. Like, buildings are big.
Yeah. No, buildings are massive. We gotta build Sagrada Familia in Minecraft.
Oh
That's
my
what we
gosh.
gotta do.
What did
Let me look up a
If we get it
reference.
done, we could finish it before they do. And
Oh my
What a
goodness.
weird
That can be our
niche
claim.
flex.
So, you're too late, fellas.
I'm sure someone's already done it, but
Yeah, let me send this to the.
So one small issue, the
your
cathedral will be 566 feet or 172 meters. Maybe you
Oh
could
my
fit that,
gosh.
actually. I guess you could. I was reading the 566 and confusing myself, but you could fit that in Minecraft World.
yeah. Also, I'm thinking for our next trip with the squad,
dang.
with the crew, because we do need to go on another trip, especially while we're all still young and unburdened by children.
Yes.
But I want to honestly petition for a United States trip next. I think would be a good breather. Like, I'd be so down to do like a New York or like East Coast like trip, or go to Maine and just do like a sampling of lobster rolls where everywhere we go in Maine, and then we make a ranked list at the end of it, and we can do a video like
Tier list.
we'd be like, we went to Maine and only ate lobster rolls everywhere we went. Like, all we ate was lobster. That was like the one caveat.
And
to the
I'm
trip.
allergic to shellfish.
Are you?
No.
Okay, good. The trip can happen.
It'd be really shellfish of him otherwise.
I'm just gonna ignore that.
Yeah,
entirely.
after seeing how little Summer and I enjoyed the seafood in Barcelona, I don't know if a main trip would be that great of a plan for us.
Are you guys not seafood people?
I'm still working up to
feel-
eating sea bugs. Summer is not so interested in learning the skill.
I know you did not just say sea bugs.
Have you looked at a shellfish recently?
Jesse,
Tell me that's
Jesse,
not a
you're gonna
bug.
you're gonna make me burst a blood vessel with that kind of slander. I'll have you know, I had tempura shrimp for lunch today.
Oh yeah.
It was exquisite. Oh yeah.
So we're actually we are bleeding into another podcast idea that I had with you, Jesse. It was traveling in your 20s with your friends.
All right.
So, I mean, if we wanted to record another podcast, let me just do an outro for the Minecraft one, and then we can just talk about...
stopped talking about Minecraft so long ago.
Yeah. Or, I mean, we
I
could just
tried to bring
continue
it
the
back.
episode and do both.
How did you try to bring it back?
Talking
Oh,
about
you
the
talked
scale
about your
of my
scale in
Minecraft,
Minecraft,
build.
and I just immediately was like, that's cool, but...
You're like, Minecraft's great and all. Let me remind you of shellfish.
Listen, it's so hard to stay focused on a topic when you're just running around a
I'm
Minecraft
just giving
island.
you a hard time, Aiden. That's my day job.
I've been working today. I just got off. I'm fried. I got no thoughts in the brain. No willpower.
None except for tempura shrimp.
Oh my gosh.
Med's
Exquisite.
religion over
Exquisite.
All right. Well, I think we will end it there and save talk of travel for another time. Any final thoughts specifically about Minecraft before we end?
I'm
I
gonna build a
personally
castle in
feel,
Minecraft.
yeah, that's ridiculous that you haven't. Honestly, you need to get on that.
I know.
I was just gonna say, I personally feel satisfied with the direction of Minecraft in general, and optimistic about new updates. There are underwhelming features in every update, but I think the fact that they keep updating means that we are going to keep getting good stuff, like bamboo planks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Media Pending Podcast featuring The Hesse. If you enjoyed what you heard, feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify if that's where you're listening. And visit gaminggiftables.com for all of your lame gaming needs. All right, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.